etc., in creating results. And I think one of the groups mentioned personal structure, routines, etc., and also helping them to negotiate as they go out into the world of work, to look beyond the cash, to look out for things like data, online subscriptions to tools that will help them in their growth, and begin to look for opportunities that help them in this new arrangement. And it was good to listen to the group that talked about parents a long time. If you're a parent who has recently come to appreciate the value of primary school teachers, especially, let me see you by hand. Raise your hand and let's see. If now you realize, wow, this is a lot of work. Homeschooling is no joke. Okay, I see some hands going up. It is no joke for younger children, right? And unfortunately, we've left parents out of the conversation for a long time. And so it's really important that we begin to have those conversations that say, if we're having career day, can we engage parents? If a student is going to do an internship, can we engage families and let them know that, you know, in this new dispensation, we have somebody who might be home and needs that space, the structure, and it is work. Is it possible to have the students do presentations at home to family members to tell them what they've been doing, just so that they realize, I mean, you may be home, but it's work and it's serious work. And lastly, like I said, these are highlights to send you the slides. For subjects like engineering, you need to teach, let's say, hydraulics. How do you do that? They are not there. They are not in the lab with you. How do you do that? There's value in getting our students to begin to invest in, let's say, and of course, there's the issue of equity, affordability, etc., that we'll have to address. But getting students to be able to create with tools around them. There are a number of TED Talks that are really useful. If you follow some of the work by Arvind Gupta and a few other folks who have TED Talks on how to use local material, this could be an opportunity for us, getting students to actually create using what they have around them. If you need to teach hydraulics and they're not in the lab, can you help them with simulations at home in a bathtub, using tubes, using whatever? It may be easier in some disciplines than others, but the more we are able to get them to do hands-on work at home, the better it will be for them when they get into the world of work. And a shift is necessary from multitasking to multi-skilling. As an employer, I'd prefer a worker or an employee who's able to do multiple things, who has multiple skills, even if they're working on one task, because I need them to draw on that. So the interdisciplinary approach, and teaching them about virtual engagement. So beginning, one thing we can try is to get student organizations on our campuses to run like organizations, you know, where they have an annual general meeting, where they can showcase what they're doing, and let's create a stock market of sorts, where we can look at what they're doing, get them to simulate what's happening in the world of work, so that their transition into that world becomes a lot easier. I think I have gone through the most important things that I wanted us to talk about. Let me pause and hear your views, your thoughts, your questions as well, as we wrap up, and we'll wrap up with that. So if you have a question, you may type it in the chat window, or you may raise your hand physically or electronically. Either way is fine. And let's hear you. Okay, let me see. Yes, Nutifafa, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the session. I want to take you back to the beginning of your workshop, where you spoke about a student who has two masters, and still wanted to go and do a third one because of, according to the student, the job market. So what do you think is the issue here? Is it the educational system, or it is how we train these students not to self-believe in themselves? Because I think with two masters already, unless they are in the same area, you are already a disciplinary person, so you could work anywhere you may want. But what would be the attitude going forward?
So this is a mindset challenge, and how we prepare students through our career services, etc., is to help them to take their interest, take your interest and learn how to monetize it, learn how to use it to add value wherever you are, so that you're not going into a job role because of the market. If you look at the market, disruptive events like COVID-19 will throw it out of the way, and you have the degree, but then there's little you can do with it. And because your interest and your passion are not in there, it's hard for you to even figure out how to transfer the skills and be able to use it differently, right? So I think it's a mindset shift that we need to begin to introduce our students to. Yeah? Thanks for your question. All right, anyone else?
Mohammed has his hand
Mohammed,
up.
Yes, please, go ahead. All right, we need to unmute you first, or if you can unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm saying apologies. I experienced the power outage here during our group session.
Sorry about
but it's important. I just want to share an experience. My wife runs a school, and during the lockdown, when the schools were closed down, we're contemplating what kind of technology could we leverage to do e-learning whilst they were at home. Now, the challenge here was the demography of the parents that we're looking at in terms of their technological capability. And this is a basic school. And we couldn't do Google Classroom because most of them didn't have smartphones, they didn't have access to internet.
I'm going to interrupt you and ask that you give us the bullseye, straight to the point summary of what you're saying. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So the challenge here is, if you are talking about parents supporting their wards and children at home, there's maybe a challenge in terms of the level of education of the people, their technological capability. Those are the challenges that we saw. And also, if you look at the remote area, power is a challenge. Most people couldn't access e-learning during the process because of power situations, you know. So those are contextual issues that we have to address and find solutions to them. We have to look at and find solutions to them. How do we bring all those people who will be left out on board during the term when they are at home and they have to participate in lectures? And
okay, all right, thank you. It's 4:32. We've stolen 2 extra minutes. Is there any other comments, burning comments somebody would like to share? There's the context we have to pay attention to, so electricity, etc. Yes.
I think John has his hand up. John Kunene.
John,
yes,
please go ahead.
Yes, I think.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I think there's one aspect that we are leaving out, the aspect of the packaging of the curriculum. The packaging of the curriculum, because the curriculum that we are having, it does not allow our learners to work on their own. Like in my country, we find that the curriculum is sort of like too much teacher-centered. So when we try to encourage learners to work on their own, there is that disparity between the curriculum packaging and the practice. So I think there is a need to shift the way we've packaged our curriculum, the curriculum development. I think that is very important.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so on that note, unless there's any burning comment, all right. So in essence, I see screen fatigue. I see a comment coming in here, screen fatigue that we're all struggling with. I mean, it drives me crazy as well. And so restructuring lessons, etc. Okay, that's important. And in essence, all we're saying is to sum up, context matters. So as we hear the narrative about the new world of work, we should actually appreciate the fact that we have so many challenges, meaning we have so many opportunities. And so when we think of opportunities for our students, not to only think of professional services, we still have opportunities in agriculture, in manufacturing and processing, where we need, you know, young people in there helping with branding, helping with different things. And so let's not get carried away and despondent because of the change we see and the fear of machines taking over the world. That's one. So context matters. Two, the world of work has changed. And so as we look at those changes, the technology, let's work our way backwards and begin to equip our students to be able to work in a trust economy. It's a trust-based economy where you're sitting behind your machine, there's nobody there. And so integrity, ethics, personal work ethic, ethos, everything becomes very important. So in our preparation, we need to look at those soft skills. We need to look at those, you know, foundational attitudes, etc., to help our students with. And then lastly, we need to broaden the conversation. And remember, we're working in an ecosystem. And so synergy, agility, being able to train students such that they are not just multitaskers, but they are multi-skilled people, professionals, who can get into the world of work and be able to fit in multiple contexts and add value wherever they find themselves. And as we do this, we need to engage multiple stakeholders as well. Families. We've never had to have conversations about work with families in the same way, but this is the time. Important to do that as well. So this has been a useful conversation. And I hope that even though most people have been quiet, you've been able to pick up a few practical things that you can do with your student organizations, faculty and administrators working together, and being able to support our students so that they don't get stunned when they get into this new arrangement of work, but then equipping them so that they can succeed. And so on that note, I'd say thank you very, very much. If you have any questions that come up or you want to engage with anybody who's been on this call, the organizers, you know, have your information, you can reach out, and then we can carry on with the conversation beyond this session. So thank you very much for your contributions, and look forward to engaging with you in different platforms as well. So thank you.
Thank you, AC.
All right, thank you, Rose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, bye.